Okay, we're almost done with this spreadsheet. We're going to continue on. We just finished up by putting in that percentage calculation. So now we want to go in this cell right here, cell Q5, and we'll create one formula, and then we're going to copy that formula down through the rest of these cells. So what I want to happen in this column is to create a saying, to look at what's sitting in cell P5 and evaluate. If it's better than a certain percentage, the student passes. If it's less than that, the student fails. So let's assume the textbook uses 70% as a pass or fail rate. Let's create that if statement that will do that analysis for us. As I said, or started the last video before, I certainly could go in here and say, well, a 96, I know that's a pass. I know a 76 is a pass. A 26 is a fail. I know I could do that, and certainly plenty of people do that. But let's use the intelligence of the software. So we're going to use the if function. So again, the if function is a function that's right on board of Excel. So I'm going to go a different way this time. I'm going to create that function by using this insert function key up here on my formula bar. So I'm going to insert a function. I'm going to search for the if function. And I see that there's an if function, and what I get with this is a dialog box that will walk me through each of the different things that that if function is going to do. So the first thing it wants, the first argument it wants, is a logical test. Is any value or expression that can be evaluated as true or false? Yes or no. So it's looking, the software is looking for when that condition is met, and it's a yes, then it's going to do whatever's sitting in this box, whatever's sitting in this value of true. If it's not, if that logical test returns a value of no, if it's not true, then it is false, and we'll execute whatever is sitting in this box. So let's say the logical test is if that cell P5 is greater than 70%, so 0.70. That's 70% in mathematical terms. It's giving me a quick hint right here as well. It knows that if it's looking at that cell right now and it's evaluating, yes, it's true. So what do I want to happen if that indeed is the case? I want it to say pass. Right? And you have to put any text in quotation marks, the double quotes, that's important. What do I want it to do when it comes down to evaluating this cell, for example, cell P7? I want it to say, wow, that's false. That person fails. And again, I put that in double quotes, and I say, okay. So let's take a look at this formula now. So it's equals if, open parentheses, the cell, or the logical test, which is checking to see if, in this case, P5 is greater than 70 or 0.7%. Type the word pass, if that's true, in the cell. Or if it's false, type the word fail. So I should see the word pass. Now let's copy this down. I'm just going to go and I'm going to stop here. And I should expect the first cell down, Q6, to say the word pass, and then on Q7 to say the word fail. Nice, it works. And now I could complete that through this whole column, and that totally works. Okay. Instead of doing that, I know this first formula is correct, but let's take a look at it. Notice that I hard-coded the pass rate, or this pass rate of 70%. or 0.7 in numeric terms. What if I wanted to change that? I don't necessarily know that that's hard-coded. It's the same as grabbing your calculator and then typing the number in. So instead, I want to make this a reference to a cell. So I want to put that 70% up here, and right now it's going to say pass because it's the P5, 96%, is definitely bigger than nothing, right? So I'm going to come in here, and now let's go and put this number instead in this cell. So we're going to put the number of 70% in, and it works. It's still working, right? So it knows, the software knows that the software is going to evaluate Q3 and say that's 0.7 and P5, 0.96, is greater than, so that's a true statement. We'll do the pass, we'll do the fail. So let's check our logic here and make sure we're right. Well, 96% is the number that it needs to be greater than to pass. So let's make this number in Q3 a bigger number than that, and we should expect to see the value of pass or fail to change to fail. So let's make it 100%. I know this isn't a great example, but it absolutely worked. Terrific. So let's go ahead and copy this down now. Whoops. Let's change this back to 70%. Oh, interesting. I'm not getting the answer that I expected to see. 76% is definitely bigger than 70%. What did I do wrong? So let's take a look. That should work. That did work correctly. We checked our logic. Let's look at this one. Now it's saying if 76% is greater than this text called pass fail. Of course that's not going to work. So again, what did we do wrong? You get used to using your intuition to say, that just doesn't look right. I need to adjust that or fix it or understand what I did wrong. It's not that our logic was incorrect, but what we forgot is we always, always, always want to go up to this Q3 value, 70%, to check. So we're going to do what we learned in our last video, is put on that absolute value reference, and we're going to now copy this down. So let's take a look. Here's that fail condition. That's absolutely what we expected to see. Great. Now, why did I do that? I could have hard-coded that 70% in the if statement. It worked perfectly fine. But what would happen if suddenly we want to either increase the pass percentage or decrease it? No, we really think a 60% is a passing grade. What happened? Now we lost some people down here, or some people changed from a fail to a pass. This student down here changed from a fail to a pass, but I didn't have to adjust my formula. So again, a really nice use of absolute referencing and pulling out a number that we can change on the fly and do as we expect. So I'm going to set this back to 70%, and we're going to go back, and so I should now match the textbook, and we're going to jump on to the next video where I'm going to show you some conditional formatting functions. Note that I am skipping a section in the text for the VLOOKUP, this letter grade column. I'm going to come back to that in a secondary video, but I want to move ahead onto the conditional formatting first.